Abdallah suggesting that he wasn't happy with the performance against Raja Casablanca on the 3rd of October at home, and therefore he's making all these changes. No place for Ogbonaya, there's no place for Ojo or for Osadiai or for Mustafa. Well, the scene is set for what should be a tremendous battle. Enyimba know that they have to come out of the blocks hot. They have to score goals early on. They have to get themselves sorted out as far as the scoreboard is concerned. Jean Garrido, the Spanish coach of Raja Casablanca, and he'll be looking for a good bit of success here as far as the CAF Confederation Cup is concerned. He's 49 years old and born in Valencia. And he's had a bit of coaching experience in the middle of the 2000s and 2004, 2008 with Villarreal. Coached the senior side in 2010-11. Went to Club Bruges. Coached Real Betis, El Ahly in 2014-15. El Ettifaq in 2016-17, and took over Raja Casablanca at the beginning of last season. So a lot for him to gain out of this encounter, and it must be absolutely terrific as a coach to be able to come away from a match away from home, particularly playing in Abe, Nigeria, which is a tough place to go and visit, and come away with the victory as he was able to do, and put his side in with a really, really good opportunity of making it through into another continental final. Last little chat then between the teammates before they get underway with this one. There's the bench players from Raja Casablanca. Raja then will play from right to left in the white and green, the old blue of Enyimba, who will defend the northern end of this wonderful Mohammed V Stadium in Casablanca. And the support is absolutely unbelievable, William.
This is what you need when you play in these kind of competitions. The 12-man factor, it is called having the fans behind you.
Match referee Eric Atogo Castana gets us underway then for the second of the semi-finals. Second leg it is. It's Raja Casablanca against Enyimba Football Club. And just to remind you of the aggregate scoreline, which we'll remind you of throughout the course of the evening, it was an away goal that was scored by Raja Casablanca. And Hafidi with that goal in the 48th minute of that encounter. And so Raja Casablanca on aggregate leading by 1-0. Theophilus Felakai. Well, that's not the Felakai, that's Usman Abdallah, the coach of the Enyimba side. Lots of pressure on his shoulders. There's only one way to go from him, and that's upward. And if they do score a goal, then it really is going to be game on, Enyimba. Playing in the blue colours, looking for the flick on. Nobody making a run down the right-hand side for the Nigerians. Solid at the back by Ifeanyi Anaamina. Not sure it's that cold that he needs to have gloves. It is 21 degrees centigrade just before kick-off, with an 86% humidity, which is pretty high on the west coast of Africa. And a 14-kilometre-per-hour wind, which I don't think is going to bother too many people.
But the one thing that these two teams do have going for them is it's a night game. And so, yes, there's a little bit of humid. But you know what? The temperatures will cool down, so meaning that they will be able to maybe maintain a certain level of tempo throughout.
Abdel Rahim Achikia has the free kick. Did it come off a Nigerian head? I can't be sure of that, but flicked away from the danger zone by Enyimba. The pickup from Chinedu Uduega. Now a little burst of speed here from Upatazi. And, well, that was a confident header back to his goalkeeper.
Even though Enyimba are playing away, they cannot afford to offer too much respect to Raja Casablanca. They still need to play their own game. And their own game is playing a bit more on the front foot. But obviously with a bit of caution that they don't give too much space for the home side to open them up. because they need that goal you spoke about.
An opportunity to get that goal. Just a little bit of a bump maybe inside of that penalty area by Achakir. No damage done as far as Nigerian striker was concerned. I tell you what, if I was a Nigerian striker, I would have just gone down. It was a bump enough. Just to test the referee's, you know, his concentration 3 minutes into this semi-final second leg. In the meantime, Niasse from the Senegal, and ball headed away by Utin for the first corner kick of the match. We'll wait to see what the set-piece capabilities are going to be for both of these sides. Roger Casablanca don't need to hurry. They can be a little bit patient. Jbira on the ball at the moment, but the Enyimba have set up a pretty good defensive structure. Niasse once again from Senegal. 3 international players in the Raja starting lineup. There's Al-Wafali, the centre-back, who's from Libya, and Madidi, who's from the Democratic Republic of Congo, who plays on the left-hand midfield side. No way through for Ben Alib. The Nigerians will be imposing physically. Whether they'll have the skill to overturn Enyimba, one big upon Roger Casablanca, one, and he has to wait to see. Wasted ball by Alalade. Don't want to be caught in possession. It's a nice turn away though by Isiaka. Quite adventurous for a centre-back. Trying to switch the play out towards Wasiu Alalade. Alalade playing as a right winger. Chekwube playing as the main striker, and just behind him would be Chinedu Udeyaga.
That's the one part of the game that they need to avoid. The set pieces, for me, teams from the north, they do a good low amount of work in preparing themselves, because sometimes the opposition doesn't give you too much in as far as open play to create the right chances to score a goal. But set pieces is where they at least show that if they're giving that much amount of set pieces, they'll hurt you. But for me, that is what the Nigerians, I know they're big in defense, they've got aerial presence about them, which is good. But if you give too much to the opposition, and as far as opportunities in that area, I'd find that one of those will end up being a problem.
Easily laid back to the Roger Casablanca defence. Padre Banoun in the number 13 jersey. He's a centre-back. He's alongside of Al-Wafali in the centre of defence for Roger Casablanca tonight. Enyimba mixing it up. It's interesting when a coach makes 5 changes to a lineup, and that could end up as being a free kick for the Enyimba side. No, I don't think quite capable of getting in behind Oladuntoye Isiaka was the Roger Casablanca attacker. So once again, a little bit of space for Aputazi. Alalade playing down the right-hand side, but he does have Aputazi in the midfield for company. Throw in from Abalawagu, the right-sided fullback and captain of the side, is offside against Enyimba.
Well, he's going to be found wanting Chekwube, because half the time he's going to be by himself. And you know, Enyimba, a team, once again playing away, there's always those challenges about not wanting to open too much, because they also don't want to allow the home side Raja to score a second goal, because then from there it will be a mountain to climb for them. So I think their game will be very conservative. Yes, they'll try and come up with build attacks whereby they'll stay compact as much as they can.
Well, it's one of those situations as we discussed at the opening stages of the AS Vita Club Al Masri game, when Ngoyi put AS Vita Club up by 1-0 in just the 6th minute, but all it took was Al Masri to grab an equaliser almost immediately, and then it would have put a lot of pressure on AS Vita Club. Unfortunately, that didn't happen, and Ngoyi got a brace before half-time. And there were 2 further goals in the second half, and 4-0 is pretty emphatic for a semi-final.
But what I can say, it doesn't quite give a true reflection of the game itself. I mean, it's a flattering scoreline, but then you'll have to go back and look at the actual game to realize what will have gone wrong. But you know what? The home side will walk away happily with that. Whatever you want to call it, whether it's a true reflection or not, they did what mattered on the day.
Absolutely. Ball forward by Isiyaka, and again, the centre-backs are not afraid to tidy up to Anas Zniti, 29-year-old who played under 20 and under 23 international football for Morocco, played at Maghreb de Fez and for FAR Rabat in his playing days, played at FAR Rabat at Zniti between 2013 and 2016, so only his 2nd season with Raja. Opportunity to win some silverware.
Maybe not the most imposing figure is Othello Kai, but he's got some height about him, and he's not afraid to get stuck in with any balls played into the area. He comes out, he wins things, and but we haven't seen much of him, meaning that the defensive line of Enyimba has held well to keep him away from danger so far.
10 minutes into the match, and neither goalkeepers had to make a save of any great significance. This is Anas Zniti. Seems to be a bit of good communication between Zniti and his defence in front of him, Al-Wafali and Banoun in particular.
You have to be organised as a goalkeeper. You've got to impose yourself, command that defensive line, organise them long before the action comes, because sometimes they don't see the spaces on either side or even behind them, so you got to keep them in check in as far as which areas to watch.
Ball forward by Boutayeb, sorry, for Roger Casablanca. Fans will be demanding success here from Roger Casablanca. It's a big stadium. There's a full house of spectators in here, mostly from Morocco. Enyimba having to travel up the west coast of Africa to reach Casablanca. Nice bit of skill initially from Wasiu Alalade. But look at the composure in defence from Roger Casablanca, with Abdel Jabira and Anas Zniti. Now over towards Boutayeb again. Utin not challenged. There's the captain of the side, Andrew Abelawago, beg your pardon, the other side. That's Badre Banoun for Raja. Now a bit of space available for the home side to go directly for goal. A bit of a deflection away as well, and Oladentoye Isiyaka not taking any chances in front of Afelakai. Second corner of the game for Raja then. One played short as well to Ben Halib. Nicely driven in, headed away by Boutazi. It's returned by the Raja Casablanca defence, but Enyimba have set up a good defensive line here. Now they're looking for a bit of a counter-attack, and there's space And an opportunity that just eludes Niti. And it's maybe a bit unfortunate for Enyimba, but a good attempt by Chekwube. And the danger's not over yet, because here they come again. Forward by Abalawagu. Inside from Isiaka. And Enyimba, no way through for him. Starting to become a very nice pace to the match. Let's have a look at this again.
I'm not sure whether he was maybe that first touch doesn't quite roll favorable to him. It goes a little to the side where he's forced to execute with his left. It didn't seem too confident to actually, as we look into the other side, the attack that Raja came up with immediately after that attack by Enyimba. Came to nothing. Both attacks.
Don't you see, there's a bit of good humour out on the field of play. Wasiu Alalade. Ball turned over by Enyimba one more time. They've said they come to play football, and Chekwube is a natural target man, and away by Abderrahman Achakia, who was given to us as a holding midfielder. It doesn't look as if he's playing in right-sided fullback, though. .14.5 minutes into the second leg of the CAF Confederation Cup semi-final. Nil-nil on the scoreline. On the day anyway, Roger Casablanca leading by 1-0. So far it's been a pretty evenly contested match. There's been some good runs from Chekwube. Long-range efforts from Roger Casablanca, and there might be another one here from Lima Madidi. Space for Hadraf. Not able to get the cross into the penalty area. And Enyimba, just as much as Roger Casablanca have shown a lot of composure when under pressure.
What I like about Enyimba is that even when they're under pressure, yes, you're 100% right. Once they pick up the ball, the natural reaction for a team that is under pressure is to clear. And look at how they're coming out here. Abalawagu under pressure, and they actually got a foul out of that, whereby they can now stabilize things and work their way out of the situation. And because when you're under pressure, the tendency is just to clear the ball aimlessly, and what you do in the process is just hand it over back to the opposition.
Juan Garrido directing traffic from the side of the pitch. I would imagine he's got to be content with what he's seen so far. Yes, there haven't been any goals that have been scored, but Usman Abdullah is the man who's under greater pressure. Having said that, just one goal from Enyimba, and suddenly the landscape changes. Forward by Utin. And Enyimba. Nice little run from Udiyaga. Almost came off the back there of Achakia. Isiaka back to his goalkeeper. Felokai has to get rid of it in a hurry. Offside flag will go up here. When the ball was cleared away by Felokai, the striker stayed forward, Rahimi. He didn't drop back at all, and there was every reason that he was going to be caught offside anyway. It just looks there. He doesn't drop back enough.
But you notice how short that pass to Felokai from the central defender. This is what basically put Rahimi in a position where he thought he might get to it, and it seemed to slow down rapidly as it approached. That's why he had to actually scramble out of his goal to eventually make the clearance.
Both sides giving away possession again. Enyimba going over the top to Chekwube. And Chekwube waiting in the middle. Opportunity, and that's a really good save from Udiega. Zniti had to get down very well indeed. And just for a moment, Roger Casablanca looked a bit brittle at the back.
That's a great save. That's an excellent save. Remember, it was hit hard and low, and not too far. That took a really great reaction to get it, to keep it out. Not only did he just keep it out, he actually held it firm in his hands.
Udiega playing in that midfield role. He's doing a lot of fetching and carrying. Here he is again. Chinede Udiega.
You hear the whistles. They basically are saying something with Enyimba picking up the tempo here. In fact, playing beautifully, knocking the passes beautifully in that middle. And the crowd, you'll think maybe they're whistling because they're happy. No, not at all. In fact, it's the other way around.
Controlled for the moment by Lima Madidi. One of the three foreigners in the starting lineup, 23 caps for the Democratic Republic of Congo. In fact, he played at AS Vita Club at the start of his career. The side that's already made it into the final of this competition. Played for Sfaxien as well up until the end of the 2015-16 season. Face mask for Zachariah Hadraf. Must have been some facial injury, maybe a broken cheekbone or something, but such is his importance. He needs to be on the field of play, and just pulled over by Andrew Abalawagu. Zachariah Hadraf has got 2 international caps to his credit. He's 28 years old, played at Difa El Jadidi last season, moved to Roger Casablanca for this campaign. Now, Achakia. They're not making too much progress with the set pieces of Roger Casablanca. And I must say, I'm very impressed with the formation and the style of Enyimba tonight.
Very impressive. They're very compact, because when they go forward, the defensive line also does push a little bit high, though there's the danger of the space created behind the defensive line. But what they're doing very well is press the situation higher, whereby Raja doesn't get the opportunity to play that ball forward. Because if you're going to hold a high line, you've got to make sure that your pressing game is very good, that they can't come out easily, they can't play an immediate ball forward. So it's done in a controlled manner, or else you can decide to basically sit back, as we look into that opportunity earlier on. And what he did very well, he didn't actually hit it with the laces. He passed, he tried to side-foot it into the back of the net, which was an excellent technique, because it gives you better direction. Is Udiega.
Well, Farley's been caught by a trailing boot from the Enyimba striker. Now just going a bit over the top, the same man, Udiega. Referee will have none of it. Mr. Eric Otogo Castane from Gabon. Still, we haven't seen Theophilus Afelakai tested by Roger Casablanca. Certainly Zniti had to pull that save off from Udiega a few moments ago. Good shot it was as well. Looking for the inside of that left-hand upright. Away goes Achakia.
I hope the goal, the lead, hasn't actually directed which way the game is going to go in as far as the home side is concerned. You know, when you've got the lead of this nature, it gives you a little bit of cushion where you don't want to rush it forward. But, you know, when you play these northern teams, they keep you under so much pressure, particularly in that first half. They look to get a quick goal, and I didn't see this here. Particularly the fact that Enyimba hasn't given them that freedom to be able to do that. I mean, Enyimba are playing like they're the home side. They don't show any signs of being intimidated.
No, they certainly don't. Ball a little bit loose in the middle of the park, and not the sort of control that the Roger supporters would have wanted from Ben Halib. And they don't get to throw in either, not surprisingly, I suppose. And in the left-hand side of defence, Chukwude Utin, just 18 years old, and this is where you want to be playing your football at the age of 18. And so many times we hear players of 23 years old are seen as young players. Well, Utin is 18 years old. He's playing in a continental semi-final second leg, and yeah, I think that's impressive. And I'm not sure what Hadraf's problem is.
In fact, he was hoping that he was going to get the decision, and it went the opposite way. So he reacted badly, and the fourth official is obviously addressing him there to say, hey, calm down. Because by reacting like this, you're actually inciting the crowd in the process.
Seems to have a bit of niggle about him today. Nice ball stab through on the right-hand side. A bit of space available here for Raja Casablanca, but the angle too tight to put it back to Mohamed Rahimi. And Enyimba once again will escape through Utin. And Amina, Utin again. Space there for Alalade. Wide on the right-hand side, calling for the ball. It doesn't get to him. Zniti comes under scrutiny from Chekwube. Off the back end of the head of Anaimade. Well, Enyimba certainly putting their foot on the ball more than we're seeing from Raja Casablanca. They're able to stand on the ball, spread nice little passes around. Then you get that long pass almost from the halfway line, looking to release Chekwube. He's got support from Udiaga on the left-hand side. He's got support from Alalade on the right-hand side. Oh, nice little burst into the penalty area again. Solid piece of defending. Enyimba will have a corner. It's their first corner kick of the game. And the whistles will start again, William.
Each and every time Enyimba are on the attack, you hear them.
A couple of those little laser beams as well. Udiaga. And there, I think there was a push from Ifeanyi and Amina.
Game played in good spirit.
Unbelievable.
It's amazing. But it's good. That's what this game needs, regardless of what is at stake here. It's wonderful. You don't get to see this often.
It's a fantastic advertisement. So Banoon. Raja Casablanca with 57% possession. They haven't had a shot, let alone a shot on target. Enyimba have had two creative opportunities, one of them on target, and now suddenly an opportunity for Ben Halib, who's offside. Well, they're not doing themselves any favour. They don't seem to have gotten any sort of rhythm at the moment, Raja Casablanca. They're playing at home. Stadium packed full of people. A 1-0 lead that they hold through from the first leg. And yet they haven't got into a rhythm yet. Foul from Lima Madidi. Well, the referee's actually gone to the pocket here, and the midfielder from the Democratic Republic of Congo is in a spot of bother. Well, both the referee and the midfielder have a smile on their face, so, you know, once again, not sure what was served for supper, William. Well, the Enyimba player is still down, clutch at the ankle that was clattered into by Lima Madidi. Let's have a look at this here. It's right over the top. Ooh, onto the joint between the foot and the shin bone. That's a painful injury. Looks like it's Abutazi who's gone down, and he's still wriggling around as if he's in distress. In fact, it's not Abutazi. Ojo. So looks as if there's been a change in the starting lineup for what we were given earlier on when we came up to commentary, because there wasn't a number 16 in the starting lineup for Enyimba. There certainly is now, and Dare Ojo is a 23-year-old who played at Kwara United up until 2 seasons ago before signing with Enyimba. Offside here against Wasiu Alalade.
You're 100% right. The starting lineup given to us initially, he wasn't a part of the team as Ojo, the number 16.
Which means in that case that Usman Abdullah only made 4 changes, not 5. Because Ojo did play in the first leg against Raja Casablanca, and Abe with that they lost by 1-0. But he does play in the pocket in the holding midfield role, does Dare Ojo.
Siaka has just been showed a card. And as a defender, he's got to tread very carefully going forward. He clutters unnecessarily. Once again, I think we saw quite a bit of that in that earlier game, whereby the midfielders and defenders creating unnecessary set pieces against them, where the player's not going anywhere, it's facing completely opposite way, it could be dangerous, and then you clutter.
Free kick taken by Hadraf. Some spectators with whistles that are being blown. That almost sounds as if the from commentary box anyway, that the match is going to be brought to a stop, but just got to keep your eye on the ball. Good hustling in defence from Achakia. No way through for Chekwude. Has been well watched. It needs to be well watched. Chekwube.
He's a big boy. That's why he can afford to play in isolation there. He actually keeps those defenders under so much pressure. He can play in isolation, he's very strong, but also aerially it brings quite a bit of pressure.
Referee wanting the Enyimba side to get on with matters as far as taking of the free kick is concerned. Anayamina, one of the central defenders for Enyimba, eventually does oblige by getting the ball back into play. Away by Jbira. Free kick this time for Raja Casablanca. Well, singing is becoming more and more prolific from the Raja Casablanca supporters as they try and drive their side on to score at least another goal before half-time and give them a bit of a cushion. As we said earlier on, all it takes from Enyimba is to equal that away goal that is scored by Raja Casablanca in the start of the second half in Aba, and then we certainly had to have game on. That's too close to a Felakai. Wonderful evening for football. Semi-final, second leg, CAF Confederation Cup. 21 degrees centigrade at the start of the match. It's probably a little cooler than that at the moment. Maybe dropping into the higher teens. Headed away by Al-Wafali. Pick up from Dimga. Abalaogu into the middle. He's the right-sided fullback that's got a lot of expressive work done down the right-hand side. Headed away again by Al-Wafali, but there's this good pressure from Enyimba, and they've got lots of players forward here as well. Wide by Dimga. And Niti had to be wide awake to that danger. That was a terrific shot.
well, he seems to be making more of the saves, and these are like shots. Unlike Afalokai on the other side, he's basically coming in for crosses, picking them up, and very little pressure. But Zinti this side is actually making saves from direct shots. Could be from some range like this last one.
Away by Ifeanyi and Enyimba. Both sides exerting some pressure. Is something going to give? Well, not this time. Afalakai. The ball has just gone over the top of the head of Ben Halib. Off that, across from the right flank. This is the previous opportunity from the left-sided fullback, Utin. It's a good one. It's from distance and it's on target as well, near post. So Zniti really had to be aware of that, and Afalakai has to be aware of this one.
Well, it's a game that is opening up. Attacks are coming from both sides. This time around, Rahimi. He now and then disappears, but you know, when he plays on the front foot, for me maybe it's because of the work done by the defenders of Enyimba. He hasn't been given too many opportunities to actually get into the end where he can let loose, but you can see, given the opportunities, he might be of some danger.
Roger Casablanca through the middle of the park now. There might have been a bubble from an Enyimba player. Corner. In fact, the referees had blown for a free kick before the corner had been given. He's got a little tin of shaving cream.
Is it not the spray?
That too, yeah. The ball was knocked out of play by Isiaka, but before then there was a big clash that was made by an Enyimba defender. So Roger Casablanca have possession more in the middle of the park, and they've got players forward here. But worked away by Oladantoye Isiaka. Achakia. Zniti. Al-Bafali. Now, was there a little bit of pushing there? No, an offside flag's gone up against Raja. And still Raja, I don't think Raja in the final third have really got their act together as far as the continuity. The passes have gone astray. We've seen free kicks going high, wide and handsome. It really hasn't been a consolidated look on an attack basis from Roger Casablanca. Down the field, midfield, defence, yeah, nothing wrong with that.
You're 100% right. Looking very disjointed. The fluidity with which they start with defensively doesn't continue to taking third. But once again, for me, it is one thing to look at it that way, but is it not a case of Enyimba? Actually, I think for the most part, they're being forced to rush their shot forward or passes forward, which is where they start missing the accuracy.
Rahimi's claiming he's been elbowed over here by one of the Enyimba defenders. The referee will go and have a look. Enyimba is pleading innocence, but the Roger Casablanca striker has stayed down. Look at this.
Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
I just want to make a point. Isiaka's on a yellow card. It's a play.
Wow.
Rahimi being a little naughty, in my opinion.
I'm sure you understand exactly what I'm talking about here. That is completely unacceptable. There was no, the hand, or should I say, of the defender just across his chest more than anything, but how he went up to hold his head as if he's been smacked by a right hand or a left jab or something, and going down, falling like a ton of bricks. That is just so horrible.
I think that Chekwube can be happy that he missed with that challenge. In the meantime, they will continue here with Dimga. A bit of pressure on Isiaka. And Enyimba consolidating. That's a nice little ball into the middle with Alalade. We do hold possession rather nicely, do Enyimba. As we said, they are powerfully built on the west coast. Abalawagu finding Dare Ojo. Has Abalawagu again.
Except for that, they need the goal. But for me, in the way that they're recycling this ball, it's just beautiful for Enyimba. Because you got to understand that the more you keep ball possession, the opposition has got nothing to hit you with. And you can, while in the process of recycling it, it's not just for the sake of ball possession. You're looking for openings to create a moment to punch it forward. You're setting up the movement in the attacking third. And that, for me, has looked very nice in favor of Enyimba.
Yeah, the quality of ball that they putting together does seem to suggest that they're not out of this contest altogether. Nice little knock away by Utin, the left-sided fullback, in conjunction with Enyimba. Now Roger Casablanca do have a bit of possession here. Good work done by Rahimi. Again, he gets knocked off the ball a little too easily. Enyimba comes away for Enyimba, but Roger Casablanca have it back, and they have a free kick as well. Almost thought they were going to take it quickly, but I don't think there's a necessity for that.
Yeah, it's a handball.
5 minutes away from first half stoppage time in Casablanca. Match hasn't really reached any great height as far as the standard and quality, and both sides playing pretty tightly. But a goal for either side might change that, because I don't think Enyimba can afford to concede a second goal. Not that they've conceded tonight. The goal I'm talking about is the one scored by Hafidi on the 3rd of October in Aba. Keeper comes off his line, commits. And Rahimi is the closest to a Felkai.
At least this time will be justified to remain down, because I think the goalkeeper did clatter into me eventually. Got to the ball. Goalkeeper was late.
And on this occasion he doesn't stay down after being really hammered by a fellow Kai. Ball forward by Niase, but again Enyimba picking up his second ball rather nicely. Enyimba. Oh, the ball's been turned over here by Roger Casablanca now. Matiti. Oh, this shot has been scuffed by Hadraf, and he's frustrated. One can understand that.
He had acres of space, ample time available for him to set it up nicely, but somehow scuffed the shot. Nowhere near the power that you'd have expected. And it's opened beautifully. Look at how the reluctance to start with, also from the central defender, Isiaka, to close him down. That would have indicated for him that another touch would have done the trick.
In the meantime, it's Dimga who will apply pressure. Cut out by Al-Wafali. Niase. A little bit of a tester for Zniti, because that wasn't the most gentle of back passes. It was a bit of a nightmare, William, when you're playing in goal and all of a sudden one of your defenders lays the pass back to you, and it comes at you like a bit of a bullet.
That's why you practice it.
Bounce of the ball, gets past Ben Halib. And the keeper's done well, Afelakai.
Excellent. I'm not sure if it was Siaka who was still dealing with the ball. There was a chance that he could have cleared it, but he wanted to maybe do it nicely. And Rahimi, he might have missed quite a few, but you know what, he's very aggressive. He puts a lot of pressure and wins it. It took Afelakai to come into his rescue there.
Offside against Chekwube. Yeah, I thought that Isiaka was allowing the ball to bounce to see if he could wrong foot his opponent. Look here, a little bit of casual play, thinking maybe that Afelakai is going to come off his line, and eventually he does, but yeah, I think Ben Halib was a bit unlucky. If he'd been able to carry that ball forward another half a metre, Roger Casablanca would have had an open goal to score in. However, they don't. They still lead by 1-0 on aggregates. And how important, Willem, is that goal that they scored in Enyimba going to be come the final reckoning? Al-Wafali. Just taking their time once again with Achakir out towards Banoon. It's Niti, and no pressure coming from the Enyimba side just yet, so they're able to just knock the ball around. We're in the final minute of regulation time in Casablanca in the first half. No score between Raja and Enyimba. And I'll still venture to say I think Enyimba's created the better opportunities. What about that shot from Utin that tested Niti, and that wonderful effort from Udiyaga?
I know we haven't spoken much about ball position and action areas, but I think it'll be very evenly matched if I were to judge it by my opinion. And basically making the point that Raja hasn't controlled this ball. And I think for the most part, the point I wanted to make, they've resorted to playing long balls forward, which explains once again that playing through the middle has been a very tough task for them. And that's why they're preferring to play the long ones, which I think for me, it's not their style. That's not the trademark type of play. They're giving ball position very easily. In fact, Enyimba are better at it.
Well, again, Dimga giving the ball away. It's gone just wide as Afelakai comes off his line to close down the angle. And again, it's Hadraf who misses the target. 1 minute of time has been added on by referee Atogo Kastan.
Ball taken away. I think the Nigerian players thought that might have been given as a foul in their favor, because he actually gets bungled off the ball like unfairly. But goalkeeper still might not have made the save, but I think coming out did apply pressure.
He's had a couple of chances as the masked winger Zachariah Hadraf. Now caught in possession, Hadraf again. Surely he's going to score now. Does! Enyimba, 2 mistakes in a row. The first time they got away with it, the second time they don't. That's a massive hammer blow. We're in stoppage time in the first half. What are Enyimba doing defensively?
That is the big question, I'm sure, even their coach will be asking them. That level of confidence is not acceptable. I mean, they just gave a ball away that nearly resulted in a goal a second ago through pressure applied, where it might have been viewed as unfairly. But it looks like that's just the nature of things. Look here. This one, actually, there was no foul. It was just the right kind of pressure, and the defender just, once again, it's Siaka.
Oh, that's just shocking. A good pressure, one must say. You know, Hadraf, hats off to him.
And the work that he did getting past the goalkeeper this time around was excellent. Oh, that was a good steal.
Now, beautifully worked by Zachariah Hadraf. And well might he celebrate the success for Roger Casablanca, who doubled their aggregate scoreline on the stroke of half-time. Because Roger Casablanca lead on the day by 1-0. They led on the scoreline at the end of the match against Enyimba by 1-0 as well. Half-time then in Casablanca, it's Roger 1, Enyimba 0, 2-0 on the aggregate scoreline. Enyimba in a bit of trouble.
Yaka twice.
An unleashed psych
Home. So even if Enyimba do put a goal back, that'll cancel out the away goal that was scored by Roger Casablanca, but they'll still have the advantage of that goal from Hadraf tonight. What a mistake that was from Oladontoye Isiaka. Now, the instructions from the coach must surely be for the central defender to not let that affect you, even though it's a big mistake. You've got another 45 minutes to play. So concentrate, get your mind on the game, and let's try and see if we can pull this around. Can Enyimba do it? Or can they not? Roger Casablanca lead by 2-0 on the aggregate scoreline. 1-0 away, 1-0 at home. It'll be enough to see them in the final against AS Vita Club. The first leg of the final on the 25th of November. And the second leg and decider will take place in the first week of December, which will be exactly a month after the first leg will be played in the CAF Champions League. So CAF Champions League final, 2nd and 9th of November. Then there's an international break for African Cup of Nations qualifiers Cameroon 2019. And then the first leg of the CAF Confederation Cup and the second leg of the CAF Confederation Cup. It's a busy month, November. Only 1 week away from getting into November. First free kick of the second half then from Roger Casablanca, who played from left to right in the white colours. White and green, Theophilus of Falakai behind his blue-clad Enyimba side. Just making sure he has enough cover on the near post. Because another goal for Roger Casablanca early on here. William Shongwe, and Enyimba can kiss this thing goodnight. Hadraf. Nobody grabbing the second ball for Roger Casablanca. And away by Chekwube.
Alongside the chart they might have had in the dressing room.
Starting to play a little bit more emphatically, Roger Casablanca.
The chart in the dressing room for Enyimba was that we must come out with guns blazing and see if we can get a quick equalizer in this game. And if you concede while we're looking to maybe score a goal the opposite side, then it has a bad effect on how the team will go on and play thereafter. Basically, the players will start thinking about, like you said, this will be a hard task for us to maybe do it. And you start giving up. You start coming second best in situations. You don't play with the right frame of mind. And this is what they're facing here in Enyimba.
Second set piece in the matter of just the 2 minutes of the second half so far, driven in by Achakia. Achakia's going to have to stretch his legs here because Uruwaga is away, and there's a real opportunity for Alalade, but well done for Zniti, off his line very smartly.
A long ball. For some reason I thought one problem could have been that maybe he was ahead of the defenders, but he came through nicely. The flag stayed down, and then I thought from there he might have a good run at it, but good work by the goalkeeper who anticipated well.
What is going to be interesting for me in the second half is to see how Roger Casablanca organised their attack in the final third, which was probably a letdown for them before the goal that came from Zachariah Hadraf, which was a mistake that is pounced upon, and the pressure, there was certainly pressure put on by Zachariah Hadraf on Isiaka, who succumbed to the pressure. Aren't we wait to see whether Roger Casablanca with Ben Halib and Rahimi can really consolidate their efforts a bit better than what we saw in the first half, where it looked all at 6s and 7s. Roger Casablanca doing the right thing because they're applying the pressure, and once again Rahimi, beg your pardon, that's Ben Halib with a complete miscue. All he had to do was put his foot on the ball and maybe turn away from the penalty area, look for a playing partner close to him, maybe trying to do too much on his own. Again Ben Halib, away by Enyimba. Uchin under pressure, and the throw-in's gone to Roger Casablanca as well. I was surprised that Rahimi didn't take it quickly. And look at the animation from Usman Abdallah. Lovely bit of play here from Butayeb, a right-sided fullback. Anyway, will do from Enyimba at the moment, just looking for Chekwube to chase, and Chekube's got possession and he's done well. Still the shot comes away. It was brilliant from Alalade. Tell you what, that was pretty close to going in.
If anything, I thought it hit the upright.
It did hit the upright. You're right.
He was very brave because there were a lot of legs. It could have been heck, big time there. In fact, very risky. He was very, very brave. I think he got caught. Oops.
Yeah, there was a foot up and he must have hit his shin straight into that challenge from Badre Banoun, the captain of Roger Casablanca. I'll tell you what, if that had gone into the back of the net, there would have been all manner of drama. Well, wasn't a coat of paint, maybe a bit more than a coat of paint away from sneaking into that left-hand upright, with Niti committing himself to the edge of the box. Away by Banoun this time. Al-Wafali eventually coming up with the clearance for Roger Casablanca, who are going to come under some scrutiny here later on in the match. But here's another chance for Ben Halib. Not sure why he felt he needed to turn away. Oh, he was offside, sorry. Because all of a sudden he just pulled up and turned away, and I thought, well, that's a bit weird. If he'd driven past his defender, there might have been something on. Advantage clearly with Roger Casablanca. Enyimba need to score 2 goals without reply. Last time they scored goals was the 5-1 against Rayon Sport in the second leg of the quarter-final at home. Difficult to play in Abe. Nice little touch inside. Offside flag will go up surely against Hadraf. Issa Yaya from Chad is the official. That's the man whose goal separates the two sides on the night. A bit niggly at times during the first half, especially the first 25 minutes of the first half, but, well, eventually stuck to his guns, calmed down, got himself a reward.
I think the one part of his game that seems to be working very well is his aggression, in the way that he attacks every ball that gets played. That's why he actually won that opportunity by forcing an error from the defense. It's just that nature, very aggressive.
Man in the picture is Badre Banoun, 25-year-old, played at Bekan 3 seasons ago. He's been with Roger Casablanca since the 2016-17 season. 2015-16 season, I beg your pardon. Wrong ball over the top, not as emphatic as we've seen from Enyimba so far in the match, and should be easy for Anas Zaniti. No changes made by the coach at half-time. Roger Casablanca leading on the aggregate scoreline by 2-0. It's only been 2 yellow cards as well, one for Oladantoye Isiyaka, who will remember this match, I suppose, for all the wrong reasons, unless he gets a hat-trick or the 2 goals that Enyimba are looking for. And it can happen from set pieces, corners and free kicks. He's a centre-back.
Yes. But, you know, at this stage in time, maybe not so much his own personal glory, but as long as the team can get up and push forward and really get the game back, that I think will be a big result for him. Doesn't necessarily have to do it. This time around he knows that two costly mistakes. Yes, the first one wasn't punished, but the second one was.
Here's the man that's been doing the punishing, and Hadraf again trying to go around the back of the defence, unsuccessful on this occasion, but every little push forward, every little goal kick that Theophilus Felakai has to take just ekes the seconds away from the stadium clock, which is heading towards the opening 10 minutes of the second half. And still, Enyimba, even though they have been a little creative, haven't come up with the goods. That's a nice little steal away from Butayeb. And Enyimba steal it back almost immediately. That's nice work by Alalade. And then, again, they give the ball away. Rahimi. Good defence from Isiaka.
Something's wrong with the passes. They seem to just to be falling short of the intended recipient, particularly by Enyimba players. The weight of the pass, somehow they're losing it, and it's supposed to be, this being a night game, the ball is supposed to flow a little bit more easily.
There's not some dew on the grass maybe that's holding it up a fraction. Wide, high, wide and handsome from the right-sided fullback, Omar Butayeb, 24-year-old. Started his career at Raja, went to Berashid, was there until the end of the 2015-16 season, so his second season with Raja Casablanca then is the fullback in the number 25 jersey. They're starting to win the second ball, Raja Casablanca, which will be of some concern for Enyimba supporters. Nice foot there from Andrew Abalawagu. But easily contained by Ibrahima Niasse, the Senegalese midfielder. Abalawagu has it back though for Enyimba. Better control from Udiaga, but they're offside. And frustration again for Dimga.
I can tell you right now, the fight seems to have gone for Enyimba. They've lost the sting, they've lost the spark, and the intensity with which they play going forward, it's just gone. Or whether they've taken the foot off the pedal just to try and recover. There's a lot that is not going right at the moment.
Hadraf's goal separates the two sides. The goal that came in first half stoppage time. Since then we've had nearly 11 minutes of play. There's been no further scoring that's happened from either one of the two sides. Harry's Hadraf. Pick up from Niasse. And he's under a bit of pressure, Niasse. Too much of it from Yutin. He's a big unit. He's the holding midfielder from Senegal. But a lot of the Senegalese players are pretty big. There's a different composure and a different intensity from Raja Casablanca, a different structure to the pitch. There's a calmness. They're finding each other a little more easily, and whatever Jean Garrido has said at half-time is working rather well. Strong challenge from Alalade. It wasn't a foul challenge at all, and then Odiaga is not able to test Zniti. Man in the picture is Ibrahima Niasse, the man from Senegal. Now looks as if Enyimba want to make a substitution. Sunday Adetunji, he's a 20-year-old. More importantly, William Shongwe, he's 191 tall. So a target man, a knockdown man, looking for players to run onto it. Maybe Chekwube will stay on. Maybe we'll lose a player like Odiega, but they're sending on a rather tall man. 191's pretty tall.
Maybe change the formation slightly to play with two strikers, and but means that the approach will change slightly. The slow build-ups will stop for a change. Maybe route one, whereby they look to the other players to play underneath the taller ones to pick up the second balls. But meaning that you're going to have to play a lot higher to afford the pickups of those second balls. That has its own challenges. But at this time, I don't think they can just sit back and hope to play the one way that hasn't worked so far.
Yeah, it's pointless trying doing the same thing that's unsuccessful and hoping for a different result, I suppose. And that is a life lesson as well. If you're doing something and it's not working, well, for goodness sake, just try something different and maybe that will work out. Clearance made by Lima Madidi for Roger Casablanca. This is Enyimba. Enyimba just looking for that open creativity of space as Banoon goes back to Zniti. And Chekwube decides not to challenge the Roger Casablanca goalkeeper. And it's as you said, William, Enyimba seem to just be hanging their heads a little bit, and maybe they are just biding their time a fraction, as I think it's Alalade who went down. No, in fact, it isn't. But, you know, they are being a bit non-committal at the moment. So the change will come, and it's going to be Chekwube, in fact, who's going to make way.
So, meaning that they'll remain with the target man.
Yeah, perhaps it's a different style of target man, though, because I fancy Chekwube was the running target man. Look at the height differential between the two. Chekwube, the hard running, trying to penetrate the defence from that point of view, and maybe Sunday Adetunzi is... just watch the shot just blocked away, and Hadraf looking to pick up the second ball, but maybe Adetunji is going to be much more of a target man, as there's a shot that's gone wide from Utin. Offside flag was up against Enyimba anyway. We'll wait to see whether there's a different tactic employed for the for the new striker anyway. This is Ben Alib. Nice spotted defending from Abadawagu. Well, there's a yellow card to the number 11. The referee is not having any of the back chat either. Must have been for an earlier incident.
No, it's
as it
turned around, it seems to elbow the player. Obviously, it's just that type of movement where you're trying to use your body, but in the same vein that arm goes up, which forms a little bit of an elbow, which can help the opposition. And I'm sure we'll get the chance to see it. Definitely
clearly,
an elbow.
Yeah. Apalaogu will join Isiaka and Madidi in the little book that referee Otogo Kastan will carry. Another opportunity for Abderrahmane Achakia, who takes most of the set pieces for Roger Casablanca. We've had over an hour of football played, still about half an hour remaining if there's 3 minutes added on for stoppages. Then we've got just over an hour, half an hour remaining, which is plenty of time for Enyimba to score 2 goals, but they can't do it when they're in this sort of position defensively. The referee's got to keep an eye on all that pushing and shoving near the penalty spot, otherwise there will be a penalty. Oh, that's a lovely dummy, and well done for a fellow Kai for making the save as well, because Achakia not making use of the runners.
What worries me is where the wall was. It means then there was a space, there was a hole open. That's where the ball went, because the goalkeeper had to shuffle all across to make that save. God had a good spin into it.
Yeah, he had to get down well, fella Kai. That's a good save. Little chip into the area, cleared away by Enyimba once again. And they're piling up here, Roger Casablanca. They have a bit of space available. And have a corner for Roger. I must say the match is still being played in a pretty good spirit.
Indeed.
"18 minutes from the half-time break, and a little bit sleepy in defence from Enyimba, and almost Alba Fali getting in with the header, and well, he's come down rather awkwardly, and he might have hurt himself here. There's a lot of concern around the Libyan centre-back, and they'll need a medical staff on here quickly, and they're getting it too.
Clash of heads. Seems to be out completely on Fali.
Yeah, the medical personnel get to work immediately. Yeah, it did seem to come down rather awkwardly. Let's have a look at this. Oh, he came down on his neck more than anything. I don't think it was any real damage at his clash. No, not with Enyimba anyway. That's a long, long way to fall. And he's fallen very awkwardly indeed and maybe twisted his neck. But yeah, look at that. He's in trouble immediately. And straight away, Rahimi has recognized the difficulty that his teammate is in, and the medical staff have been called on. Well, the good news is that Awafali is back on his feet.
Yeah, he seems to be a little bit dizzy.
A little bit dizzy, yeah.
Indicating to the medical team to say, hey, the world around me still seems to be going around a little bit.
How many fingers, William? They'll check him over thoroughly before deciding whether they need to make a change or not. Again, an apology coming from one of the Roger players. That's tremendous stuff. Achakia offers his apology to the new Enyimba substitute, to Sunday Adetunji. We're 20 minutes into the second half in Casablanca. Roger lead by a goal to nil on the night and by 2 goals to nil on aggregates, and still Enyimba haven't made any progress. And it's almost a similar situation to what we saw in the semi-final, second leg of the first semi-final tonight, with Al Masri chasing the game, but they still had opportunities with the away goal situation to try and punish AS Vita Club, but it never came, and AS Vita Club just consistently scored goals. 2 in the first half, 2 in the second half, as we said earlier on, and you said, William, 4-0, a bit flattering for AS Vita Club over Al Masri, but yeah, that's the, you know, when people look at the history books in years to come, 4-0 is 4-0.
It's all that's going to reflect how the team played. Nobody will care much about that.
Incredible. We'll see a little bit of time taken over here by Roger as well. Here's the captain of the side, Badre Bandun, being given a little bit of a wriggle on by match referee Eric Togo Castane. Handled the match pretty emphatically. Is that cramp or is that an injury for Rahimi? It's an indication of some cramp, and he says to his teammate, "Oh, that's not the way you treat a cramped quadricep." Back on his feet though, just as Al-Wafali was earlier.
Or is it a time of the game where they'll start managing it by coming up with a lot of breaks?
No, they'll do that too. Very well versed in all the little intricacies that allow you to go on and win titles. The last title they won, 1999 in the CAF Champions League. They won this competition 4 years later, the CAF Confederation Cup. Spoken about that. Oh, a little bit sleepy there from the centre-back. Needed a good save from a Felakai to bail him out of trouble, and he'll make the clearance as well. Well, Enyimba. Well, we saw that sort of thing from Isiaka, and now the other centre-back is doing the same thing. It's ridiculous.
It really makes me wonder what goes into the mind, because I think they're too much concerned about coming up with stylish build-up, because sometimes it doesn't have to be pretty. Honestly, with the Adetunji up front there, you don't need to hold too much on that ball defensively. Look at the number of ball being given away so cheaply in their own defensive half. That, for me, something has gone wrong. The sharpness, the thinking speed seems to be dropping with every hour.
Yeah, you're absolutely right as far as that's concerned. We are 3/4 of the way through this second leg of the second semi-final of the CAF Confederation Cup. Al-Wafali resumes duty at centre-back. Seems to have recovered his senses after signalling to the referee and to the medical staff that he was feeling a little bit dizzy. Free kick though to Enyimba. And, you know, although the scoreline is 2-0 and Enyimba gave away that goal, or I say conceded that goal against Roger Casablanca at home, If they score one here, and then they're still only one goal away from progressing, because if they score 2 away goals, that more than cancels out the away goal scored by Roger Casablanca and the goal scored by Hadraf. And that's what they require, though. There's a chance here for Sunday Adetunji. Roger Casablanca's organisation stands its ground. And then they give away a free kick in Enyimba as well. But enthusiastic, but that's what you want to see. We want to see Enyimba putting pressure on here. It would be a great spectacle for the patrons in the stadium, as well as the viewers back at home as well. If there was a goal from Enyimba, I think it would add a lot of passion to the final 20 minutes.
That's what this game needs. Just goal from Enyimba so that we can finish strong. I mean, I can see here we are almost falling asleep here, because it seems to be going one way. There is no change, but I think we need something that will wake us up. I'm sure the viewers as well will need a little bit of that.
Ball's never going to reach the substitute striker. And that's Niti had to make 2 sharp saves during the first half. And one of them was from the left-sided fullback, Ikuwen Utin, and the other from Chinedu Uriyaga. And both times he got down rather sharply. In the second half so far, he's had a quieter time of things than has Theophilus Afelokai. Hadraf, whose goal separates the 2 sides on the night, clearing a header from Isiaka. At least he made sure of the header this time.
At least that's the kind of decisiveness that you need, or that he needed in that first half in dealing with those balls that he gave away. This is the earlier save from Afelokai after the ball was given away.
Yeah, he got down rather smartly there, did the Enyimba goalkeeper. Now, substitution time for Roger Casablanca as they delve into the bench players. And it's going to be Abdalila Hafidi who's going to come on. He was the only player left out of the starting lineup by the Spanish coach, Joan Garrido.
The goal scorer from the last game. Was he?
Yeah, absolutely. So come on as an impact play, and it's Ben Halib who took the place of Hafidi in the starting lineup. That's made way for Hafidi. He's 26 years old. He's got 8 international caps with 1 goal to his credit. But here is Hadraf again. Ball knocked away from Al-Wafali, who'd remained up in that Enyimba penalty area. A good clearance away by Dareojo. The pressure continues, though. Sanad Al-Wafali is playing almost as another striker up inside that Enyimba penalty area. Leave them a bit thin at the back. And good work done here by Dimga. Although even better defence from Roger Casablanca. And Al-Wafali saunters back into his normal defensive role. Now, an angled ball here in the right direction could work for the substitute. It doesn't go there. Afidi looks as if he's taking the position more on the right-hand side of attack, and so Rahimi will continue as a striker, but Ben Halib had played a slightly wider role. A knock in the back is sometimes painful.
I think again it's a bad landing. How he came flying over. Oopsie. Oh, that was a head. Big time.
Butchayeb, the latest recipient of some medical treatment. There's a player out closer to the penalty area of Roger Casablanca, who's also receiving some medical help. It looks like the holding midfielder, Abdel Rahim Achakia. Now, discussions on the Enyimba bench. There need to be discussions that will lead to Enyimba fighting their way back into contention here, because not quite at a stage where time is running out, because I would imagine there's probably still around about 20 minutes remaining in total, with stoppage time to be added on at the end of the second half in Casablanca. But Roger have done the business away from home. Scored a goal. They scored a goal in front of their home supporters, and Enyimba haven't.
And this second half performance, it's a situation whereby they don't seem like a team that can score. I know football, being it is, anything can happen. There's always a twist in the tail of the situation where you least expect it. But it's a bit hard for me to see with the level of performance that has dropped in this fashion. But like I say, every now and then there's a spark that comes from nowhere where they might just turn the corner.
With Yaga looking for possession again. The ball was angled very nicely toward him, but cut out in the middle of the park once again by Lima Madidi. The only Roger Casablanca man to have picked up a yellow card tonight. Madidi challenging again. Good work done by Alalade. Advantage play to Enyimba. The Spanish coach John Garrido for Roger Casablanca has thought that there might have been at least one, if not two, whistles blown in favour of his side in that little melee, but there wasn't. Half an hour into the second half, 15 minutes and stoppage time separating Roger Casablanca from yet another continental final, where they'll meet AS Vita Club on the 25th of November in the first leg and first week of December in the second. 1-0 on the night, 2-0 the aggregate scoreline.
Having all the ball possession and not hurting Raja in any way. In fact, it's all happening in the defensive half for Enyimba.
Now a bit of pressure being exerted from the right-hand side. Abalawagu. That's going to go over the top as well from Enyimba. Problems exacerbate. Well, it looks as if we're going to have another change for Roger Casablanca. Indeed, it's going to be the number 9 jerseyed striker, Musin Yejua, 33-year-old international with 14 caps and 6 goals. Started with Roger Juniors in 2003 and has played in Qatar for various clubs in the last 3 years. Now an opportunity here for Rahimi, and again he doesn't turn in toward the goal. It's the second time we've seen that. We saw it once from Ben Halib from almost a similar position. Crosses in from Hadraf. Roger will have a corner. Well, they're just taking their time about matters now. Hafidi, Hadraf, and Achakir nearly got on the end of that. In fact, it wasn't. It was Rahimi. Fans are getting more and more enthusiastic about the chanting as the clock's ticking down. Forward here by Ibrahima Niasse. Still Niasse. Keeper of his line smartly, a Felakai in front of Lima Madidi. But there's even less coming back from Enyimba at the moment. Seems to be a match of diminishing returns for the Nigerians.
Even when they do hold quite a good amount of ball possession, it's happening too defensively. The movement into the attacking third is not happening enough or quick enough. I mean, Roger is a very organized side. They actually sometimes maybe let them play to keep ball possession only in their defensive half. They wait for them.
Mahmoud Ben Alib made way for Abdelila Hafidi a few moments ago. Now Mohamed Rahimi is at a good match and makes way as well for Musin Yejor. And the experienced international striker will come on to just make sure that if there are opportunities, he can stick them away. Experienced at 33 years old, only 14 international caps, but 6 goals in those 14 matches, which is rather impressive. And having been in Qatar for the last 3 seasons, decided to come back and maybe end his career with the side where he started as a junior, and that's at Roger Casablanca. Started in 2003 with Raja. Ball stabbed away by Niase. Surprised the referee didn't allow an advantage in that situation, but these sort of things happen, and possession is still with the Raja Casablanca side. Forward by Banoon. Now a nice little run off the ball here by Butayeb. The ball initially, I think it stayed inside for Yajaw. No, it hadn't. It probably gone the whole of the ball over the whole of the line in the air.
Coach Abdallah still believe that something can come out of this game.
Absolutely. I see a substitute warming up there for Enyimba as well. The left-sided winger, Joseph Osadiyai, who is a former Warri Wolves 23-year-old, and it is Osadiyai who's making his way to the touchline. Now, who's the player that's going to come off? Have we seen the signal yet? I don't think we have. So Joseph waiting to come on. It's going to be Alalade, who's played on the right-hand side and sometimes through the middle of the park, who's going to make way for Joseph Osadiyai. And the more positive thing about that is that's another attacking player. In the meantime, a header that is easily saved by a Falakai. That comes from Abdel Jbira. Understandably, the fans are having a good time. There's every reason for them to be doing just that. Must be wonderful to be a Raja Casablanca supporter tonight. It must be wonderful to be an AS Vita Club supporter as well. The Democratic Republic of Congo must be alive with support. Solid defending from Abala Ogu. Still the pressure will come from Raja. Oh, the ball just doesn't reach Hadraf. Good bit of intervening from Enyimba. Now they'll come away with it with a new player, Joseph Osadiyai. And they'll have a free kick, Enyimba. Foul from Lima Madidi, who has to be careful. He's on a yellow card that he picked up, well, seemingly an awfully long time ago. I think it came in the first half. Some wide play here for Utin. He's the left-sided fullback. Still, it just seems to be a hit-and-hope situation as far as Enyimba are concerned. No great purpose in any of the passing that they're doing. This is the previous chance. It was a good win by Osadiyai over Iajo, both of these substitutes that have made their most recent appearances for either side. No clean sheet for a Falakai last week, no clean sheet for a Falakai tonight either. Anas Zniti will have bragging rights as far as the clean sheet category is concerned. And still, the home record is intact. And if the match ends this way, it'll be 7 matches played at home in the CAF Confederation Cup. 4 victories, 3 draws, no losses, 12 goals scored, only 1 conceded. Still only 1 goal conceded at home the entire season in this competition.
Remarkable.
It's impressive.
Very impressive. But you can see, even in this game, in the way that they've made it difficult. That first half performance, really, I was a little bit surprised that they looked a bit poor, particularly playing at home, in attack particularly, but still defensively they were holding their own. And this second half around, it looks like, Enyimba, whether it's a question of maybe losing their performance level, their explosive action in the process dropping, as it normally the case in the second half. The tempo doesn't stay the same from when the game starts. But this has dropped like dramatically.
Oh, now there's a really good opportunity. If the ball can be pulled back to Yajo, well, why should it be pulled back if you can go to the near post? The fella Kai, strong hands. Matiti. They continue on the left-hand side to Roger Casablanca. They're finding some good space up there, and once again, Al-Wafali, the Libyan centre-back, finds himself playing as an attacking midfielder. This is Utin. Nice turn from Masadiai. Oh, a bit sleepy there as well, and suddenly Butayev is away, but he can't find Yajo. Roger Casablanca pull both sides. Once again, we saw this in the first half, conceding possession rather needlessly, and once again, that's poor from Abalagu.
This is story if you don't have too many options coming from such a tight angle. Coaches would advise you to hit it hard but low, because the chances that even the defenders can hit it into their own back of the net in trying to clear.
Abdul Rahman Bashir is the final substitution that'll be utilized by Usman Abdallah. Is it a case of too little too late, that this is not going to work out for the side from Nigeria? Abdul Rahman Bashir is a 29-year-old attacker.
Talk about grinding the game. I think that at that stage, Raja, whereby they'll just manage it. Every now and then, try and get into attacking third, just cause trouble, keep them on the back foot. But one very important part is like they're not going to give any window of some sort to Enyimba to try and score.
Oh, you're absolutely right. I think that would be completely suicidal if they had to now suddenly start becoming a little bit lackadaisical about the situation. They on the brink of qualifying for the CAF Confederation Cup final for the first time since 2003. That's 15 years since they won the competition.
The forward passes are a big problem for Enyimba.
Has been in the second half so far. That's nicely cut out by Abdel Bira. And Aymina. It's a signal towards the halfway line. Is it for Sakara Hadraf to come back on? No, it's not. Hadraf is not going to take any further part in the encounter because that injury has just proved too much for the man in the mask, but he'll be a happy man too because it's his goal that separates the two sides, and it's given Roger Casablanca that little bit of insurance in the second half after scoring on the stroke of half-time. It was in first half stoppage time, and the man who will come on is the holding midfielder Salah Benabid, who's 24 years old. In fact, it's Benabid who comes on. Opportunity out. Oh, it's an own goal from Isiaka. Who else? He's had a shocking game, and he rounds it off with a goal for the opposition.
That unfortunately are the ones whereby, like I said, if a player's coming from the white side, he doesn't have too many options. Squeeze it hard and low. The own defender, the defender themselves can put it into their own back of the net. And yes, Isiaka here has had one of those days that I would like to forget very quickly. Now as it comes, there weren't too many as far as white shirts there, but for the fact that there was a white shirt pressurizing forces Isiaka to engage, and with the goalkeeper coming out in the process. Oh,
it was a lovely touch.
Lovely defensive touch, but into the wrong direction.
Not that it would be appreciated by Theophilus Afelakai or the Nigerians in general. Isiaka with an own goal 2 minutes before the end of the match, and surely that's all over. But yeah, they pull a goal back now. Enyimba finally find the back of the net. He said, but sleepiness from Roger Casablanca. Well, It's a little bit naughty from them, because that looks like it's Bashir, who's only just come on as the final substitute. And he pulls the goal back for Enyimba. Too little, too late? One has to think so, but, yeah, there's hope, surely.
No, you like to. What a beauty. That's a great goal. Man, from basically his first touch. And finds the top corner of the net. But I could say it maybe a little too late.
Absolutely. It is an away goal, so that cancels out the goal that was scored by Hafidi in Aba 3 weeks ago. But it still leaves Hadraf's goal and Isiaka's own goal. Well, that has Roger Casablanca in front. Yeah, I don't think that Coach Juan Garrido is too happy with conceding that goal. It's only the second goal at home they've conceded the entire competition, after conceding in round one against Nuadibu of Mauritius. But we are in the final seconds of regulation time in the second half. Enyimba need another 2 goals if they are going to win this on the away goals rule. And suddenly Juan Garrido is animated on the touchline. Is it to be a final sting in the tail? A header away by Madidi. 4 minutes of time to be added on. Well, a goal every 2 minutes. And Enyimba find himself in the final with AS Peter Club. And Roger Casablanca would be absolutely devastated if they had to give the thing away at this stage of the game. Good pressure coming from Sunday Adetunji. And they'll have a corner here in Enyimba. And they're applying some pressure suddenly for the first time in the entire second half.
They've just woke up from a slumber. I mean, only if they played to some extent a little more like this. Suddenly agents is back.
Completely incredible. Asadiai trying to work his way through a bit of space, and he's elbowed Abdullah Hafidi out of the way. That'll be a free kick to Roger Casablanca, and will give the home supporters some breathing space, as 1 minute of the 4 that has been added on by referee Otogo Castane has elapsed. They will take their time, and they'll feel that they have every right to do that as well. Well, Roger Casablanca, and that's another way of wasting time. Just knock it off your opponent and back into touch, as there's nothing that Sunday Adetunji can do about it. And that's clever play from Omar Bouchaye, but you've got to be sure of the connection, because if it ricochets towards the goal, and then suddenly there's an opportunity for the opposition striker to grab another. And a second goal here for Enyimba. It's going to get a few rattles going in the Roger Casablanca camp. Nicely cut out by Jbira. 2 minutes of stoppage time have passed. 2 minutes remaining. Enyimba need 2 goals. And it seems unlikely, but I'm loving their energy suddenly. This is the sort of energy we were hoping to see the entire second half. The touch from Utin is a bit strong, and the captain, Banoun, will just slow things down. First time ball off the field of play, and a mistake by Ane Amina. Pick up from Iajor. Still Iajor! Good save of Falakai. The pressure's not over yet. Well, it is now, because Isiaka, in some small way, makes up for a shocking game. The mistake that led to the goal from Hadraf. The own goal that he scored, he picked up a yellow card as well, but he makes a good intervention here.
Excellent goalkeeping once again. And I tell you, the most difficult part about the ball that hits the ground close to the goalkeeper is that it can bounce off higher. So you got to really set your hands so proper that that ball doesn't do so. Excellent work. He hasn't had a bad game at all. He's considered 2 goals, but it's not a bad game at all for the goalkeeper.
No, the Falakai's done well. I thought you were talking about Isiaka for a while.
Oh, no.
Hence my frown, Mr. Shongwe. 30 seconds away now, Roger Casablanca, for a place in the final of the CAF Confederation Cup. along with AS Vita Club, who won by 4-0 earlier tonight under Gianni Bengue. And Juan Garrido can then relax for a couple of weeks, because the first leg of the final is only on the 25th of November, and the second a week later. Roger Casablanca carrying the possession into the final seconds, because that's all they need to do. 3-2-1. The final whistle should come from the Gabonese official. Offside flag. Mr. Togo Castan looks at the timepiece. He's in radio communication with all the other officials on the park and blows for full time. Roger Casablanca will celebrate victory tonight. They're led by 2-0. Bashir pulled a goal back, but it was too late. The goal scored by Afidi away from home played a role as well. But tonight, Hadraf with a goal before half-time, Isiaka before full-time, Bashir with a consolation goal for Enyimba, but Enyimba are out of the competition. And Roger Casablanca will take on AS Vita Club on the 25th of November in the final of the CAF Confederation Cup. The final score then tonight from Casablanca, Roger Casablanca 2, Enyimba 1.